Good evening, and welcome to another edition of JMB After Dark.
What?
Or JMB Talks.
JMB Moms Talk.
JMB Moms Talk. So today we are here with
Johanna
and
Stacy
and
Milo.
my cat. They are contributors for the blog, and Megan and I are the co-founders. And today we are going to chit-chat about getting involved at your child's school, which can seem daunting sometimes. I say that from experience because I still get nervous about how much I want to volunteer and what should I do and what should I do, because you've got the PTA, but then you have the classroom. Those are two different things.
And it's a lot of work.
It is. And it's a lot of work, so you also need time. Mm-hmm. So Johanna is now a brand new PTA president.
Yay!
Congratulations. Here. And she's probably going to be the best one from that school. I definitely think so.
We'll see.
And Stacy has been volunteering for as long as I've known her.
Yeah. I have sons at two different schools, and I serve on the board at one school, and then I volunteer at the other. So
we have a lot of mom volunteers on our team. We have another PTA president on our team, Meredith Laudenbeck. Jessica's on her PTA board.
Patricia
is. Jessica Stewart is.
Brittany
is.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So we have a lot.
Probably more.
So,
Krista is.
So one of the things so from my experience, and we just talked about this before we went live, is at one point my daughter was in preschool when my son started kindergarten, and that was a challenge. So I did what I could, I feel like, in the classroom, but I didn't really know how to get into the PTA, and I felt like I didn't have time because my daughter got picked up at 1 and there was all this drop-off pickup. But once both kids were in the same school, I said, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to sign up for the PTA and actually participate. I always went to that welcome breakfast that they have the first day of school, I think it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And then I would never know what to do next. So you have to sometimes take initiative, I think, right?
Mm-hmm. You really do.
Yeah.
At our school, we have sign-up sheets at the Tears and Cheers breakfast or the Boohoo breakfast, and with all of our different committees, and you can sign up that way. And then the committee head follows up.
Right.
So, there's a little bit of an accountability on the board member to recruit their team.
To follow up with the people that sign up.
Right.
Well, and one thing as like a mom to a new school, so like a kindergarten mom, or just like if your kid's not, like you don't even know what these events are.
Right.
They're like, oh, we're going to have signups for the booster-thon, and oh, we're going to do this, holiday. Know what that is. So I do think it is, part of the board's responsibility to educate, especially like new moms, new parents, to what these events are and where they can fit in, right?
And that's terrifying. I remember.
Terrifying.
Well, our kids are the same age and the same grade, so
right.
I had one in preschool and one going into elementary school too. So it was kind of tough that year that Hudson was in kindergarten, and I really didn't do anything board wise there, but I did sign up for some little things, because even volunteering the little things really matter. Yeah. And it's really helpful.
Yeah.
That's what we were talking about. Well, first, before we talk about that stuff, we were talking about what's the first thing you should do if you want to volunteer.
Yeah. So especially if you're DCPS, Duval County Public Schools, you need to go to their website and
I'll post it in the comments.
You're so awesome. And you have to click to volunteer. You have to sign up to do that background check, even if you want to be on the campus for field trips or anything in the classroom.
Lunch.
Anything.
All the things. You
so,
need to
but
do
like,
that now.
how long does it take for that to get approved? Sometimes it's a long time, right?
Sometimes it's that long.
Oh, good.
Sometimes it's like, I think at most it's like 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was going to say 2 weeks is what they usually say. I just posted the link in the comments.
But
so
do it
The problem is with it though, you don't know if it went through or not.
You don't know.
You click send and then you get nothing in return. So if
I think you can choose to get something in return. Is that not
But that may take forever.
That might take forever.
Well, and then you have to keep asking the school. Well, did you get my?
Did
And they
you
have
get
to
my
like
thing?
shuffle through
Yes.
things.
Yeah, and you
or
still
go
need
online.
to ask
a
your
little
school
bit
no
of an
matter what.
archaic system.
You have to go in after you've done it, because then they have to pull it up on their system and validate it and get you
and it's
in
good
their
for
system.
2 years.
2 years.
It is good for 2 years, but I do it every year just because I am
Oh my goodness.
Yes,
I forget.
Me and Megan are like,
did I do it?
I don't even know.
I'm pretty sure I'm still good.
I think I'm still good. No one told me I'm not good, so I'm just gonna assume I'm good.
I do it every year because sometimes, was it last year or the year before, they had a turnover in the systems that they used. So sometimes.
Sasha said, are we just talking for Duval? I believe, I mean, I would think that any public school, so I would think for Krista, I know that Krista's on. She might be able to chime in. I think she's Clay County. So,
well, I know I have a couple of friends at Duval Charter, and they have a background screening process too, but they have a totally different situation.
Yeah.
They do something called PTC, which is run by the school. So, but I don't know too much specific about that. If somebody.
Oh, she's Duval too. So maybe somebody that is watching, if you're in another county, let us know. We know we are all Duval County, but I'm pretty sure St. Johns County does that.
I would think every county has some sort of background
So
check.
you can be on campus. I mean,
for any sort of public school.
Right.
Oh, here.
Well, I know that
Cassie
St. Paul's
just
does
posted
too,
Clay
though.
counties.
Okay. Yeah, Cassie.
Okay.
Thank
you.
Most of the private schools have them take an actual class. I know a friend of mine with a incoming kindergartner at St. Paul's just took some kind of
Yeah, they're all different.
Parents,
all the
yeah,
private schools are
something.
different. So that would be by school. Because I know that even a school I visited, they scanned my driver's license. And then I had to wear like a tag with my picture on it. So they're all different.
Yeah.
You would just have to take.
Well,
and Allie says St. Johns County is the same for background checks. So there you go.
So now you've got your permission to be on campus and at the school. So let's talk about new parents to a school. Like, what should they do first?
Well, I would think when you're new to a school, you really want to get into the classroom.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That's what that's what I liked at first, just because I didn't really know where I was going to fit in. I didn't know what my kid was going to be into. He ended up being really involved in the running club, so
That's awesome.
that ended up being something that
You volunteered.
that I volunteered a lot with.
Yeah.
And I loved it because he loved it. And then when my daughter came in, she loved it too. So it just, it kind of came naturally for me. And then I just looked for things that I was interested in.
Yeah. Well, I think that's the hard part too, is because obviously you want to, when you do volunteer, you want it to be directly related to your child. So I think the classroom is always that's where you want to go first. Because some of these larger events you may not even see your kid. Right?
See, I kind of disagree with that just a little bit.
Yeah.
Because for me, I feel like, especially with the PTA, it's every child, one voice. And there's something really great about getting engaged with other grade levels. And kind of you get an advanced look at kind of where your child is going, what's next. And it also helps your child will see you. Your child will know that you're volunteering when you're volunteering at these broader things. But what you'll also be instilling in them is confidence that they're safe in their classroom and they're developing their independence. So
that's good.
I was a room mom, and I love doing it, and I think room parenting is great. But I think it's great when you kind of understand the teacher, and you've talked to the teacher, and you've gotten a really great rapport going on, and you know that your child is being driven in that direction of independence. At least for me, that's one of the most important things.
So instead of being in the room all the time.
Yes,
which happens.
Yes, and you kind of are missing that opportunity to let your child's classroom gel together and just
that's a really good point, actually. Well, and also you'll find, or I found, when I do go into the classroom, I get snatched by my child.
Yes.
Don't go. Don't leave. Don't leave me. What, can you stay all day? I'm like, I cannot.
But see, look, when you're working the book fair or something like
and
that,
you can wave
or you're the popcorn mom, or you're like me, and you work in the Dolphin Dollar store, you can be like, hey, oh, sorry, Mama's got her hands full, and they're seeing you respect the system, and then as they develop that independence, that's when I start to do more inside the classroom.
Yeah,
when I know that they're
good points. I love that too.
One thing that Meg pointed out and we had talked about was even if you can't get really involved in PTA.
day-to-day, yeah.
You should still spend the $10 to be a part of the PTA and get on the email list, and it's only contributing to your child's school. So definitely join your PTA, whether you can get really involved or not.
Yes.
Well, there are a lot of things that working moms can do. I have a friend at our school who she works full time, but she would come in before school and she would count all of our popsicle sticks for running club and tally it up for us.
Well, that's nice.
And then she's gone before the bell even rang.
She has to take her kid to school early anyway.
Yeah.
And then there's moms that clip and count box tops.
Yeah.
Which is equally as important.
Right. Well, and I was saying for my daughter's kindergarten year, I have a little one, so it's hard for me to come in the classroom, but her teacher needed a lot of just random tasks done. So she would send stuff home in her backpack, and I would cut out stuff that she laminated or organize files for her. She sent all sorts of stuff. So I'd just do it after the kids went to bed while I was watching my shows.
Which is great.
Yeah. So it was like one less,
the former teacher
administrative task for her to do.
Yeah. And think about what your kids saw. Like, they know that you have a task and that you're valuing their school and that you're contributing, even though they're not like physically seeing you in the room every day, which is awesome. I think.
Definitely.
Yeah, I thought Cassie's point was well made. She was
this one. Being the homeroom mom is both super stressful and rewarding at the same time.
It is. It's a lot. It's a lot of coordination.
Well, it's a lot too, and there's only one. I feel like you know. Because then
it's nice when it's a little bit of a group effort. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like it's nice when the room mom has a couple of other moms that are kind of like.
You have to, at our school's
Co-mom,
training, the school that our kids share, like, that's the first thing that they tell you. It's like you read the manual and the first thing that they say is make sure you identify your co-room parents, like, after you meet the teacher, and you work with the teacher to identify them as quickly as possible.
Yeah, Cassie also said, what I like is that most of the school PTAs have many different committees, so you can find something that you're really talented or passionate about, which is nice when you can share something that you're good at with the school.
Well, and also, I'll say sometimes it can be a little intimidating when you see that there are a lot of parents that their children are in like 4th and 5th grade. Like, they've been in the PTA for years. And they've got their jobs, their groups that they've been doing, their events that they love to do every year, and then it's kind of hard to like slide into that little.
And feel, especially when they're very passionate about it.
Yeah.
It's both awesome and extremely intimidating.
Yeah.
And I think you have the added dimension that some of these people have then been co-room parenting up, so they have these really solid bonds. I know at one of the schools that my kids go to, when I first joined the board, it was a board that had traveled literally from one school to the next together, and a large percentage of the members. Yeah, so they had just a really tight-knit group, and I thought, how could I ever fit, and it took me a minute, but they were gracious, and I think you have to constantly, it's like Meredith's post. Meredith, who's one of the co-contributors, she wrote the post that got shared on the National PTA website.
Yeah.
She talked about how you don't always gel immediately with people, and I think it's important to discuss that, because you don't, and you're going to be intimidated. And if you look around and nobody looks like you, sounds like you, or has your same opinions and points of view, you need to be there, because you're reflective of your school body.
Right.
And if your PTA is all one thing, then just take a deep breath and remember you're doing it for your kids. You're doing it so that your family is represented, and you're also stepping up for the other mom that's like you that maybe can't be there in that same capacity. So,
Good stuff. Yes. You're on tonight, Stacy.
You are.
Drink your little
whatever's
whatever's in that cup. Magic
it is. It's coffee.
Magic coffee.
Yeah. But it's in my magic milk.
But also too, like, what's also intimidating is sometimes someone has been in like even like a treasurer or for the entire time that their child, so from like kindergarten to 5th grade, and then all of a sudden someone's supposed to take that role over. That's a little scary too.
I will say, with what I've experienced and what I've taken over in the past couple of years, the people have been awesome.
Yeah. They wanted someone to do it as well as they did.
Right. Yeah. I was walked through it, and I plan to do the same with the positions that I just left.
Yeah, that's so great. and I think Lindy was talking about that. One of our PTAs has a shadowing program, and it's the best really that I've seen because it makes it so easy. When you first join a PTA, you go to a board meeting.
They do have a shadowing.
Yes, and you think, oh, I might like to do this. You can shadow the person that's doing it, and then hopefully step up and take some of that on, and you'll realize either that it's a fit or it's not. Yeah, and that's really great. But not all PTAs have that, where you have an established system. You know, I have been involved in a school where the transition from one board to the next was very, dramatic. And so there was a lot of recreation, and you do lose energy that way. So you want to have a seamless transition. And that gets back to focusing on why you're there, I think.
Kara says, shout out to our new PTA president.
I can't believe it. That's amazing. It's amazing.
Yeah. Casey pointed out, which is true, when we said join your PTA no matter what, because PTA dollars bridge the gap in funding that schools don't get from the state.
It's so true. It's so true.
Yeah. Well, what else? What other tips do we have for getting involved? I mean, we talked about room moms. We talked about, well, I think just attending events too. I mean, sometimes I'll be nervous about volunteering because I'm not sure if I can commit to the time. So we use those online sign-ups, like the real, whatever they're called. And I'm like, oh man, am I going to be able to get there by, have 2.5 hours? That's the slot, of the time. So sometimes I don't sign up, but I show up.
Yes.
And then I help.
Which is great.
And so then I know what the event is all about. I'm like, okay, we did that run, and I was like timing the kids. I'm like, oh, next year I'm going to sign up for this officially.
Because you were a boss timer.
I was a good timer.
Yes. I feel like there's always something for you to do if you show up too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, if
there's always more help needed
at a planned
sure.
event time, like I would definitely not recommend rolling up to the school and just being like, hey, do you need help today?
No.
Right. But at those events.
Like at a run or at a morning event, you want to
we always do blessings in a backpack on Fridays where we stuff food bags, and I mean, we have a ton of volunteers, but there are days that we're super short-handed and there might be 2 or 3 people packing 170 bags. So it's great on Friday mornings for us.
Right.
If there's a random person and we can just kind of snag them and
Welcome.
say, hey,
yeah, that's amazing.
Yeah, like come help us stuff these bags. Yeah.
And we'll even do an all call if we know we're going to be short, just on our page. Just, hey, can anybody come help? Because we're a little stuck.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about this. So you would assume that most schools have a PTA Facebook page.
Yes, you would assume.
You would assume.
I would assume that, but I don't know.
If they don't, you could start one at your school.
Absolutely. Yeah. I think PTA Facebook pages are great, and groups are for getting information out, and it's a good thing because then you can say, oh, we're going to be short, or oh, we're having this event, or reminders about uniforms and things like that. And it also is a good way, because one of the main things you want to do with the PTA is to create that parent community. And there are some things that a PTA mom can say to another PTA mom and kind of talk through and work through their plan. It's just like we were talking about whether or not you really want your first volunteer thing to be being inside a room. Yeah. That's an easier conversation to have mom to mom or dad to dad or mom to dad, whatever, caregiver to caregiver in the PTA than it is to have like in a global school setting. So I think Facebook pages provide that in a really dynamic way because so many people have different schedules, and you can message your PTA and ask those questions and have somebody that's there at the school help you.
I think it's good for dates too, like
oh my gosh,
event dates, calendars. Because I know that's not always coming home.
Yeah,
and it's not the teacher's fault. It's my kid's fault that it's not coming home.
Yeah.
I always tell the backpack ate it. Like it's like in between.
I don't ever know where half of it goes.
Especially for new parents, is they don't even know what's happening, what kind of events the school puts on, and if it doesn't make it home and there's no other place to post it, then you show up one day and it's like, oh, it's pajama day.
Right.
And sometimes you show up and it is pajama day, and how left out do you feel?
You feel horrible. Even just like crazy hat day.
Yes.
Oh my God, Go home and get a hat.
So look for your communication outreach, because I know, like we talked about PTA, but also you want to make sure, like I just got the robocall from the new superintendent.
I did
too.
too.
Yeah.
Right, so make sure you're signed up for robocalls, because most schools use that.
Yeah.
And it's awful in the beginning, right? Because it's
it
like,
is.
you can opt out of this, don't opt out of that message. Just put it on speaker and listen to the whole thing. And then we also have Peach Jar. I don't know if
we do too.
Yeah, you guys have Peach Jar as well. So they send out flyers through Peach Jar. So just make sure you're connected to all of those communication things, because there's a lot available, but for some reason it's just hard to get it to stick.
And if you're a hot mess mom, latch onto the type A mom.
I'm not a type A mom.
No, I know.
Look, I'm
And always have another mom to ask questions to.
Yes.
To be like, am I missing something? Did I not know something?
And it doesn't, I feel like PTAs get like this stigma that the moms are at the school
Like that movie.
all the time.
That movie,
all
Bad
day
Moms.
long.
Bad
Yeah.
Moms.
That,
Well, but
it's just not the
for some
case.
people that are a little bit more introverted or have a harder time breaking in socially can feel that way, whether that's the truth or not. So, like Allie mentioned, that she avoided all the PTA stuff last year. She didn't even sign up. She was super overwhelmed with just being new and not knowing if she had any time, and she also found it super intimidating. Yeah. And I think sometimes it can seem that way. Like all of the PTA moms already know each other, and they kind of have their thing, and then you're like, well, where do I fit in this? So, what is y'all's advice for that?
Yeah, it's so hard. Be a volunteer coordinator, because like I had that feeling, and one of the things that I would say is I just think about Tracy. She's a big part of the reason that I even felt like I could do anything. I had
Is she
kids,
still there, or does she leave now?
She's not doing the volunteer coordinator.
Oh, no.
Yeah, no, she's no longer there. But she just gave the best hugs,
Yes.
and I love a warm hug. And she was so comforting to me when I said, I have kids in 2 different schools. I'm trying to work things out. I don't know what I can do. And she said, well, send me an email. And I sent her an email with the things that, with what I could do. And she responded back to me with so many opportunities. And anytime that I flubbed up, like the time I wrote about that I showed up a week early with my muffins for the teacher appreciation, because teacher appreciation happened at 1 week on one school and another week at the other school.
Oh, boy.
Oh, man.
In the movie version, I would have gotten like kicked off the island.
Right.
In the real life version,
It's not like
you
that.
just
teachers
eat
were
the muffins.
stoked.
Yeah.
They were like, muffins. And I was like, right on. Like, that was it, And so if you feel that way, or like with Allie, if you felt that way, maybe consider being that volunteer coordinator, because sometimes it's
Making
the hot
the
mess
other
moms.
people feel welcome.
Yes, it's like just owning your hot messness and saying, no, it doesn't work that way, and it doesn't look that way for everybody.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't think it looks that way for anybody, and if they are, they're faking.
Yes.
Totally.
That's true. We talked about that.
But some people, some people really do. I mean, they are there a lot, and they
No, yeah.
Well, they
are
live
that type of
there.
mom.
It's
Yeah.
like they might have a job there.
Yes.
You don't know.
Right.
Are you getting paid to be here every day?
Yeah.
Because it seems like that.
Your sweet mom says, don't feel alone. It has been intimidating to join PTA and get involved across the generations for teachers and new parent members. You are needed, and your contributions make a difference.
Oh,
So sweet.
Sweet.
who said that?
Her mom.
My mom.
Connie's on.
Of course
Hi,
she
Connie.
is. She's very supportive.
And Lindy said, I love seeing the dads get involved too. And
Oh,
yes,
yes.
I do too. We do have a lot of dads at our school
My
that do stuff, and
husband
I love to.
does a lot.
Yeah.
He does the garden.
I know.
They were like,
We
he's
have a
like,
garden at the
he likes
school.
to garden in general, and our school has a huge garden, and so he volunteers and does that like once every, season basically. He'll
3
clear
times a
it.
year. Mm-hmm.
We have a dad at our school that volunteered to make all the buddy benches for the playground.
Yeah.
I love a buddy bench.
And that
Your
goes
school
back
doesn't
to
have
like
one.
that goes back to finding what you like to do.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
you might not want to come in and read or
Yeah.
Right.
stuff food bags or whatever, but he likes to build.
Yeah.
So that was a need that he filled, and it might have just been a temporary need, but
Yeah.
it's
a big
still
contribution.
That's
a
also
big contribution.
something that can be done in the evenings or on the weekends for working parents. So So there's definitely those.
One thing I would
other ways.
say, like we were talking about what you should do, that I wish I had done earlier because it's hard for me. I still struggle to learn like all the avenues of where fundraising comes from and how all of that works. So taking some time to look at or research or sit down with the treasurer of your PTA, PTC, PTO, whatever it is, but also just trying to understand how things are funded. So like if you know your child loves the running club, don't just volunteer for the running club, but maybe figure out how that's funded, because sometimes those things come through grants or things that you could help to write for or that you could help to look for funds. And also you want to understand, like we all get frustrated. I think sometimes we're really lucky at our school that we have like one major PTA fundraiser a year, and it happens early in the year, and they announce it and they keep it like tight. It's a stressful event to put on, but then once it's done, the majority of our PTA fundraising, well, all of it is done. And so you don't have this constant barrage of funding requests and things like that coming through, which is amazing. All schools aren't like that, but just understanding that and getting involved.
Last time we went to a PTA meeting, they had given us the financials.
Yeah.
Yes,
see.
which is so nice.
Do all schools do that?
Yes, the budget.
The budget.
Yeah.
But it's all not always done the exact same way.
Right.
And that's just a very nice, succinct way. Sometimes it can be a little bit harder to find out that information, but it's so valuable.
Yeah.
And you
I
can,
thought it was very interesting, actually.
it's very
Even like
interesting.
box tops, they get a big chunk of money.
money. And then it makes you want to clip more when you
box
see
tops
how
are
much
really,
money
they're
came
really
in.
underrated.
Yes,
Yeah.
they are. And like Labels for Education, which was one that used to exist, is now no longer.
Right.
So box tops is really one of the last things that we have that's super simple for people to do, and it gets money right back to the school.
And they're on everything right now. They're on your wipes, your Ziploc,
your copy paper,
pretty much everything that we're buying.
Cereal.
Yeah, everything we're buying right now.
paper mate pens.
Paper mate.
Dry
pens?
packaged goods.
You can tell who the allergy mom is because I'm saying all the non-edible things.
Shannon, who's a teacher, said that she's exhausted from classroom setup, but as a teacher and a mom who wishes she could be in her daughter's classroom helping more often, at-home tasks are amazing. Be sure to tell the teacher herself you can do all the things like what I mentioned earlier when I had my daughter's teacher send stuff home in her backpack. So that is really helpful. And that is something nice, that you can do over the weekend if she sends it home on Friday or whatever.
And there's also
Definitely
there's a lot of us that are former teachers, and that's something that is invaluable. I mean, I know that in my daughter's kindergarten class, and then in my son's first grade class, I did a lot. Whatever they wanted me to do. I mean, sometimes I worked with the little kids, sometimes I worked with the high kids, sometimes I just, basically whatever they wanted.
I think that's awesome.
It's like, oh no. Lindy said grandparents too. Yeah, that's true. There's a lot of grandparents that get involved.
We even have a neighbor.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah, I mean, she never had children of her own.
Oh, that's nice.
So she came in and she did a lot with us last year. She did basically all the laminating for the teachers.
That's so nice.
But all you have to do is fill out your
Yeah.
background.
Check.
Yeah.
Will come. That's amazing.
Well, any other tips or comments?
Is there anything else?
We're just about at half an hour now. That's usually
where we
Join your
wrap
PTA.
things up.
PTC
Yeah.
or
so
Join
the
your
bottom
PTA.
line is
join your
PTA no matter what.
Yeah,
If
give
you're-
that
if you're-
$10.
give the
and
$10.
get. I had my mom sign up. I signed up my husband.
Yes.
So it was like
And
get everybody involved.
go to that first meeting. That first day of
That
school.
boohoo coffee, that
and
breakfast.
tears and cheers.
Yeah, there's usually a meeting right after
There's a
because
meeting.
everybody's there. So.
And even if you're a little intimidated by all of the things, because there's going to be a lot of things to sign up for, just kind of observe. And if you hear something you like, or like whoever said that, latch on to a mom who's been there for a year or two already and can direct you a little bit. But it is very rewarding.
Yes, and don't compare yourself.
No.
Like, don't look for yourself in other people. Just
Do
go
what
see
you can do.
Do what you can do. Smile. Do it for the children.
Smile. And remember why you're there.
That's exactly it.
For your kids. So it doesn't put aside all your feelings of intimidation and all those things and break in there.
And it's not as bad as you think it's going to be.
It isn't. It's so much fun.
No.
It's a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right. Well, if y'all have any other comments or questions, you can leave them in the comments. All of our PTA pro moms on the team
will answer your questions.
We'll answer your questions. And we have a lot of different moms on our team, private school moms, Duval moms, Clay County moms, working moms, non-working moms, everybody. So they can all probably answer different questions that you may have, or we'll find out if one of us doesn't know. So thank you for joining in tonight.
And we will announce the next JMB Talks soon.
Cheers. Good night.